You are listening to the Scars and Guitars podcast series. My name's Andrew Mackay-Smith, and the interview subject you're about to hear from is Ahrue Luster. Ahrue is the guitarist in NIñO, and he was previously in Machine Head. The reason for the conversation is to promote NIñO's appearances in Australia across August 2017, and I'll read out some dates. On Wednesday the 2nd, they're appearing in Perth. Thursday the 3rd in Adelaide. Friday the 4th in Sydney. Saturday the 5th in Melbourne. And finally, Brisbane, we get a show on Sunday the 6th. So let's have a listen to what he has to say. Here we go. Ahrue Luster, welcome to the Scars and Guitars podcast. You have had a long and successful career creating modern heavy metal, so I want to offer you a heartfelt congratulations. Now, NIñO is embarking... You're right, mate, you go.
Oh, I was just going to say thank you.
That's all right.
That's very nice of you.
A few more compliments to come, rest assured. And NIñO is embarking on a tour playing the debut album Revolution in full. An album, ironically, that you weren't on due to your tenure in another icon of heavy metal, Machine Head. So why has the band decided to tour and play the debut in full in 2017?
We just thought it was about time. There was a few other tours going around with bands doing their debut record or the most popular record, and we kind of thought, we've been hearing so much from our fans that there's so many fans that still appreciate the first record more than anything else, and we just thought it was a good idea to just go back and celebrate the release of the record and celebrate the record and the fans and just do the full record in its entirety.
So NIñO are a band that are known for creating massive groove-oriented metal steeped in the traditions of Latin culture. How important is the band's Latin identity to the overall sound?
I think that is the most important part of our sound. If we didn't, that's what makes us different. That's what separates us from everybody else. Like probably the year that NIñO came out, maybe 10 other bands also came out that year, but nobody was doing anything as original or unique. And most of those bands aren't doing anything now. And 15 years later, we're still rocking.
Sure.
So
yeah.
We always, when we're writing, we're always in the forefront of our mind is how do we keep it to sounding like NIñO with the Latin element and the tribal element and everything that makes us unique.
Fair enough. And is there a new album on the horizon?
We're in the beginning phase of just discussing it. We've had a couple talks on the last tour we've done, and just to talk about the direction and what we'd like to do, but at the forefront of that is keeping our sound the way it is, with the Latin element, but as well as introducing new things and kind of keeping it modern as well.
Yeah, fantastic. So I alluded to something earlier, and I would like to ask you a question about your time in Machine Head, if that's okay.
Sure.
You left the band in 2002, and I found an interview last night that you did with Blabbermouth in the same year, and it had the headline that you were, I'll quote, "I was creatively unfulfilled in Machine Head." How do you feel about your time in the band now when you look back?
Well, I read that interview recently, and just reading through it, I was just cringing. Just because I was a lot younger then. I'm older and wiser now, and just the way that I sounded, I was just like, I didn't even like to read it. But the truth is, I was at a time in my life where I thought there was such thing as a perfect situation in a band, and what I've come to learn now is there is no perfect situation. There's always going to be problems. There's always going to be issues, and just the same as it is with any other relationship in life.
Sure. Yeah.
And you know, when I look back at the times that I spent in Machine Head, it's all fond memories, most of it. I mean, maybe there's a couple things here and there that I didn't like, but I mean, we had some great times, great friendships, and I'm still friends with all of the people that I played with in that band till this day.
Cool.
But now, you know, now that I think about it, and the way that I think about it now is Rob Flynn gave me an opportunity when I joined the band, and even though I'm not a Machine Head now, you know, like because of that, I have a career in music, and I've been doing this for a long time, and I'll always appreciate him and be thankful for that.
Yeah, fair enough. And look, The Burning Red is an album that I rather like, and I still do like it actually. But it is an album that attracts some criticism due to the band's look at the time and the departure in musical style from what was considered a traditional Machine Head sound from the previous two albums, due to the adoption of some new metal elements. So when you look back on that album, and if you can believe it, it's almost 20 years old, that record, is there anything that you change about your approach to that album?
Well, to be honest, I was the new member of the band, so I didn't really have a lot to do with the direction or any, you know, anything that was going on in Machine Head world didn't have anything to do with me except for the riffs that I brought. And you know, I brought riffs and we kind of used them the way that I mean, Rob Flynn was kind of the pilot of the ship, so you know, he kind of incorporated it the way that he felt it would fit into the band. As far as the you know, I wasn't even really that familiar with nu metal when I joined Machine Head, which is the funny thing. Like, right. I hadn't even heard of Limp Bizkit, and Rob Flynn is like, "You don't know who Limp Bizkit is?" And I was like, "No," you know. So he's like, "Oh man, you got to hear them." So yeah, I mean, I was so nervous just showing up to rehearsal every day. I didn't. Yeah, right. There was nothing that had to do with the direction that I put in.
Okay. Yeah, and what's your take on?
I mean, I guess the original question was, would I change anything? And the answer is no. I mean, I love that record to this day.
Yeah, good on you.
And it's you know, one of the things that one of the albums I'm the most proud of, and I wouldn't change a thing on it.
Yeah, no, good on you, mate. Yeah, no, I do like it. I loved it when it first came out, and yeah, I know. And sometimes I feel, my opinion, of course, that the band's tried to distance themselves from the album a little bit. And look, but I'm one of those guys who, you know, my favourite Aussie album is The Ultimate Sin. My favourite Celtic Frost record is Cold Lake, and I actually really enjoy the new Suicide Silence album. So I tend to like it when bands take a bit of a, you know, go off the beaten path a little bit.
Yeah, I agree.
What's your take on Machine Head's music since you left the band?
To be honest, I haven't really listened to it a lot. You know, like I hear things here and there, but it's kind of like, you know, it's kind of like looking on Facebook to see what your ex-girlfriend's up to. You know, like I just I just don't go there. And not for any other reason that I don't know. I just don't feel the need to, I guess.
Yeah. No, fair enough. And look, you did mention that you were in touch or you had a relationship with all of the members of the band that you performed with back in the day. Adam Duce famously left the band under a cloud of controversy, it's fair to say. So not necessarily asking for you to comment on that, but do you know what Adam is up to these days, and are you still in contact with him?
Yeah, after he left the band, he called me and we talked on the phone for about an hour. And I mean, he's doing really good for himself. He's got a construction company. He's just playing music for the love of music. He just jams with different people when he feels like it. And he's got a good life. He's doing really well.
Wonderful. All right. Yeah, and I watched you. The last time I saw you perform actually was with Machine Head in Australia in 2001. I think it was when you guys toured with Slayer. And I have been a fan.
Oh wow, long time ago.
Yeah, and because of the playing on the Burning Red, you're playing on the Burning Red. I actually made a point of standing in front of you in the audience. I want to congratulate you on your guitar playing as well. You have been an influence on me.
Oh,
no worries.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and I was reading online too. You do some production work these days, and you offer your services to up and coming bands. Can you tell me a bit about that?
Yeah, I have a production company called Illustrious Productions, and I've been doing it for about 8 years now. Recently, I've started getting into more and more touring and signed bands and, international. I'm doing a couple things for Dave Ellison of Megadeth's label, EMP.
Awesome. Yep.
I just finished the new Motogrator album, which should be coming out in maybe a couple months. I don't have an exact release date, but it's coming out in a couple months. And I'm looking forward to doing more bigger bands. Like that's kind of my goal with it is like, I'd like to work with some bigger acts.
For sure.
But it's doing good. I'm always busy with it. When I'm not touring, that's what I'm doing pretty much. Yeah.
Fair enough. Now, the next questions I ask everybody who I have an interview with. So humour me.
Sure.
They're 3 questions.
Okay.
And I'd love it if you could play along. Your answers can be as not safe for work as you like. So here goes. Choose 3 words to describe yourself.
Positive. Shy. And I guess hungry for life.
Yeah, good answer.
I guess that's not one word though. A word that means that. I don't know.
Hungry is fine. We all know what it means. You gave great context, so there you go.
Yeah.
If you could go back to when you were 18 and give yourself some advice, what do you think you'd say?
Trying to think of the biggest thing that would have helped me.
Yep.
God, these are some difficult questions. I'm usually prepared for the other ones, but these
do throw
you
people
put some
a
real
little
thought
bit.
into them.
Yeah.
All right, this is what I would tell myself. I would tell myself the winner of every Super Bowl, and then tell myself to bet on them.
Nice. Who do you follow? Are you a San Diego follower?
San Francisco 49ers.
Sorry, San Francisco. Sorry, that's. I meant to say that it came out of San Diego for some reason. There you go. Okay, and the final question is: what 5 guests, living or dead, would you invite to dinner?
I would say my grandfather that I had never met. He died before I was born, but he was a great man, and I would have really liked to meet him. Bach.
Nice. Yep.
John Coltrane.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Bruce Lee.
Uh-huh.
And Caesar. I couldn't think of the last one.
I reckon that's the most diverse answer to that question I've ever got. So well done. There you go. That about wrapped things up. That's our 15 minutes. Ahrue, look, I really want to appreciate your time today, but also for creating the music that you have and the way in which you've answered the questions too. As I say, I've been a long-time fan of your guitar playing individually, and can't wait until you guys get down here to Australia, because I'll certainly be in the audience and I'll probably front and centre. I'm a bit older these days, of course. I'm 39, so I might not be in the pit, but I'll be up the back somewhere, but in front of you, mate, watching your guitar playing.
Well, I truly appreciate it. I never take it for granted, and every day I'm blessed that I'm able to do this for as long as I have. And hit me up on Facebook, and we'll have a beer together.
No, I'd look forward to that, mate, for sure. Yeah, we'll do. You can count on it.
You have been listening to the Scars and Guitars podcast series. My name's Ahrue Luster, and that interview subject was Ahrue Luster from the outfit NIñO, and he was previously in Machine Head. Thank you so much for listening.